Hey guys, Desolate Magic here with some more Double Masters spoilers. We got some more amazing cards today, and a couple questionable ones from what I saw. So first up, we got Pyrite Spellbomb. Never did like the Spellbombs. I think only like 1 out of the 5 is real popular, but yeah, it's a 1-drop artifact. You guys know this is an artifact set, and a lot of artifacts can come back from the graveyard, so it makes sense why they would put this in here. So if you pay 1 red and sack it, it deals 2 damage to any target, and then if you pay 1 and sack it, you can draw a card. It's cool, it's flexible, it's, you know, color locked, whatever, but it would be annoying to bring this back from the graveyard every single turn. Next up, we've got Mishra's Bauble. This card used to be worth a fortune. So when it was in Iconic Masters, it devalued it to hell and back. I don't even remember how low it got, but a lot lower than it is now. So it was sitting at about $6 again, which is pretty surprising. But now that it's in Double Masters, they're saying that the pre-orders will be about $2. I think anything above $1 is pretty optimistic, if not 50 cents. So anyway, it's a 0-drop artifact, and you tap it and sack it, and look at the top card of your library, or of target player's library, pardon me. Then draw a card at the beginning of the next turn's upkeep. Now, I could have sworn this was banned in something, but the Gatherer says it's not, so okay. You can see why this might be problematic in some decks, right? Next up, oh hey, it's Grindelwald. I'm surprised they could afford to license that. Anyway, it's a 4-drop, 2/4, and if you pay 2, you can return target artifact card with converted mana cost of 1 or less from your graveyard to your hand. Yeah, thanks for that, Wizards. It's like they're trying to ruin the draft environment for this set. Next up, we've got the classic caffeinated bacon, Bacon of Unrest. Now, it is a 5-cost sorcery, but, I mean, bacon's pretty expensive right now because of all the meat packaging shortages and whatever, but put target artifact or creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control, shuffle Bacon of Unrest into its owner's library. So, pretty powerful card. I mean, the average just generic blah whatever resurrect card in black these days tends to cost 5 mana. But this one says creature or artifact and not necessarily artifact creature, so it's a little bit more flexible. So yeah, obviously problematic if you resurrect some like 13-cost artifact or like Emrakul or something, you know. I don't need to tell you that free casting from the graveyard is still free casting and still problematic and still inherently broken. And by the way, this is a 79-cent card in the rare slot. Fantastic. Next up, oh, a wild Mox Opal appeared. Pikachu, use Thundershock on my wallet. So this, even right now, is a $50 card. It was printed in MM2. It was originally Scars of Mirrodin. It was a Judge foil, and it was also, obviously, a masterpiece from the initial Kaladesh run of them. That version, by the way, $200. But this is also going to be one of the box toppers, and so I guess also a borderless card in the VIP pack or product or whatever. I think my current understanding from all the different pieces that they scattered around the internet that you have to solve like a puzzle, because apparently that's how they give out information about their products these days. But yeah, all you have to do is go to Mark Rosewater's blog plus Twitter plus Daily MTG and then put it all together into one package, and then also still hit up the staff with clarifications. I think the borderless foil will be exclusive to the VIP packs. The borderless regular with 0 chance of being foil will be in the box topper. And then in the packs, you have a 0% chance of pulling this at all, except in its normal artwork form. Something like that. So anyway, yeah, they're looking at the borderless being 100, but I'm not clear if that's the borderless or the borderless foil, or they don't even know if that's a placeholder price, or who knows. It's a lot, let's put it that way. So yeah, I mean, you pull this in the topper or the regular, you're gonna have a big pile of money. I mean, $50, yeah, if the packs are 15, I mean, okay, that's not that good. I mean, if it were, I've already compared it to lotto tickets. Let's go slot machine. If this is a slot machine and you won like, what, triple to 4 times, like 3.5 times your money or whatever, that's not that good of a win. I mean, you're basically prepaying for like 3 or 4 extra spins. Like, that's, you know. What I'm saying is that unless you consistently pull really good cards, you're gonna lose even if you win, pretty much. This is a very, very overpriced product. Now, that said, if the box EV ends up being $400 or $500, okay, cool. You've got a percentage there. But remember, if you're going to sell them on eBay or TCG Player, you're going to lose, 14% plus shipping, and shipping in first class is ridiculous and zone-based right now in America. And on high-end cards, on the best buy lists I've ever seen, you're going to get 60-70%. Minus shipping after all that, by the way. So if it's like $300 to $350, public average price on the market, and the box EV is $400 or $500, you might think, oh wow, what a great value. Not necessarily. On a good day after fees and stuff, you'll break even. So I wouldn't jump on this too quick. I mean, like I've said, this product is almost exclusively for single sellers. It isn't really for the general public, unless you have some obsession with drafting this, which look at all the artifact, degenerate shit. I personally wouldn't touch it. Now, that said, if I can get 10 to 20 to 30 grand, which is about what I just unofficially ordered of it from a friend of mine who owns a store and is going to try to get that much from his distributor, I guarantee I can take it in from one box, put it in another box, slap a label on it, and make 10-20%. It's looking pretty grim for me getting any number of boxes above 0, though, because everybody's hitting up the distributors now saying, oh, give me everything you've got. Just send me as much as you possibly can. And if everybody says that, they ain't going to take a shop that normally orders, a couple dozen and send them 100 boxes of it. Then again, with very little manipulation and market shenanigans and crap that everybody pulls, I was able to get like 14-15 grand of Ultimate Masters, so... You never know, but then again, that was coming off of 2 of the worst Master sets ever, so a lot of people, ordered as little as possible because they had 0 confidence in it after the 2 before it crashed. Kind of ignorant of the spoilers and all the hype once we saw them. I mean, you have to place your order before that if you're not familiar with how that works. But there's nothing stopping you from, going to a set that's not very popular and calling your vendor up like a week out and just being like, can you double my order? I mean, it's cool if you can't, but just, if you have it. So yeah, it should be interesting to see where this lands. I'm going to run the EV calculation, the expected value, average value of one box returned, as quickly as I possibly can after spoilers end. So watch for that video. Hit subscribe. You don't want to miss it. So anyway, I'm not sure if I'm happy to see this in here or not. I mean, overpriced card that everybody wants and nobody can afford. Yay, they reprinted it. Hooray. Go, community. On the flip side, screw this degenerate card. It's banned in Modern for good reason. And recently too, by the way. Plus it encourages artifact affinity decks, which literally nobody wants to play against in any format ever. They are complete and utter aids. And I don't mean they help people. But you know what I am sure about? My thoughts on the next card, Ensnaring Bridge. This is the worst card ever printed. It's that simple. There is no other card in the game, and remember, we're approaching 30,000 unique cards if I'm not mistaken. There is no other card in the game that I want banned more than this from every format that exists. That red free casting for one bullshit card comes really close, really, really close, but this just barely beats it because it's a control card. This drops into play and you just can't win the game, period. If your strategy to win in any way involves creatures and you can't remove this, you just lost the game for 3 mana. Colorless, too, by the way. You can throw this in any color deck. This is arguably the primary card in Lantern Control, which is the worst deck ever, period. If anybody plays this against me in a game, they know damn well I will light it on fire and throw it at them. They need to ban this from every single format and then never print it again, forget about it, and pretend it never happened. Currently, the card value is sitting at, f*** you, who cares? If you pull one of these, rip it up and toss it in the trash. So just absolute wonderful choice for a reprint here, Wizards. Thanks. Next up, we've got Phyrexian Metamorph. Oh, you knew at this point they were going through a checklist of what's the most, hated, just bullshit cards mechanics, deck archetypes, play styles, just anything that's hated by the community. Let's put it in the set, and you knew Phyrexian Mana was coming. You had to have seen this coming, right? Phyrexian Mana, according to a lot of pro players, and I think even some of the Wizard staff, was the biggest mistake in the entire history of the game, as far as a card mechanic. Personally, I'd put it pretty close to Dredge. It's hard to make a call, but it's pretty bad. You know what? No, Dredge wins. I gotta give Dredge number 1. It's not even Magic. You don't even use mana. It's what even is that game? What the f***? So this piece of trash is going to be one of the box toppers, but it's only sitting at a $30 pre-order. Ouch, and like I said, a lot of those are kind of optimistic. Regular versions look like $4, so a bit of a waste of a rare slot, but at least it's not, 25 cents. And, this does cost 3 plus 2 life, let's be honest. And you may have Phyrexian Metamorph enter the battlefield as a copy of any artifact or creature on the battlefield, except it's an artifact in addition to its other types. So someone, either you or your opponent, had to put in whatever you're copying. So they can't say, oh, that's so broken. Well, who brought out the first one? Now then again, if you free casted Emrakul into play with, well, a couple of the other cards that we know of so far in this set, and then on top of it you copied it, and you copied it with a blue card without your deck even being blue, because screw you, it's Phyrexian Mana, then you're an asshole. If your opponent brought out some degenerate, overpowered piece of shit, and then you copied it so they can't swing with it, well, I guess we know whose fault that really was. If they complain about it, that is hypocrisy at its finest. Even the card Altered Ego, one of the best copying spells ever printed in the history of the game, where on the artwork, this lady's just chilling, and then a gigantic, Attack on Titan's clone of herself comes through the door of the window and is just what's good? And the card says, it can't be countered, and you may have it enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature, except with X additional 1/1 counters on it. Even that's not that dickish if you're cloning their creature, let's be honest. It's like, oh, I just brought out a Gulta for 2. My deck's broken, degenerate, overpowered shit. Thanks, Mark Rosewater. And then you're like, okay, all right. Can't be countered. I've got a 15-15 Gulta. What you gonna do now? And they're like, oh, that's so unfair. Shut the f up. It's your fault. You started it. You deserve this. So is Phyrexian Metamorph an inherently broken, unfair card? Not really, but it's Phyrexian Mana. It's not really blue. And you can clone your own creature. I think it's a bit of a poor choice. Just for, like, generally card design. Also, it's only $4. Next up, we got Kuldatha, I don't know, Forge Master. It's a 5-drop artifact, because of course it is. It's 3/5, and if you tap it and sacrifice 3 artifacts, search your library for an artifact card and then put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. Yay! Barely conditional, barely restricted free casting with a free fetch. That's super never degenerate and broken, thanks. By the way, also only a $3 card. Great, what an awesome choice. I'm sure drafting won't be complete ass cancer. Hey guys, what's worse than playing against somebody who drafted a bomb-ass mythic? Having them draft a bomb-ass mythic and then also this so they can go get it consistently. Like I said, they're clearly purposely trying to ruin the draft environment. Because if you buy the product for draft, that's one less pack that goes to Card Kingdom so that they can open it and sell you singles for a profit. Remember, this product isn't for you. Like, legitimately, it's not. Next up, are you kidding me? It's another cloner, sort of. I mean, it costs 6, so like, what are you really gonna get out of it? But yeah, it's duplicate. This card is a whopping $4. Oops, wrong line. It was $4, now it's $2. Fantastic. So bad rare to pull, bad rare for draft. It's just bad. So when you, when it enters battlefield, not when you cast it. That's very important. Exile target non-token creature. I thought imprint was only stuff you control, and I thought it was like spells from your hand. Wait, let me look up Isochron. I mean, I guess it doesn't specifically say that you control, but it says from your hand. Okay, I didn't play back then. Apparently, I just don't know how imprint works. So anyway, it has to already be in play, obviously. So, okay, somebody put it there. But then as long as the card exiled with duplicant is a creature card, duplicant has the power, toughness, and creature type of the last creature card exiled with duplicant, it's still a shapeshifter. And it doesn't gain any of its triggered or activated abilities, I guess, because it didn't specifically say that. So it's not even a true copy. It's not really a cloner because you have to get rid of the original. This card's a glorified insurance policy and it costs 6. It's not even that good of a card, but remember, you can free cast artifacts from your graveyard. Or return to hand, or return to the top of your library. You know, the whole artifact thing in this set really is a giant turnoff for draft, but I think I've made that point at this point. So next up, we've got the Mirror Battlesphere. Oh boy, it's a 7 cost 4/7, and when it enters battlefield, create 4 1/1 colorless mirror artifact creature tokens, and then whenever Mirror Battlesphere attacks, you may tap X untapped mirror you control. So not just them if you run an all mirror deck, but good luck getting that to work in draft. And if you do, it gains plus X attack plus 0 until end of turn and deals X damage to the player or planeswalker it's attacking. And then combat resolves. Well, after declaring blockers and all that. But yeah, this thing's interesting. I mean, it's guaranteed unblockable damage, but it's not like... not really trample, but it's also kind of not really not trample. It's kind of somewhere in between. But then it's like conditionally dependent. I mean, this is just one of those like interesting cards where it looks powerful. It's pretty good. It's appropriately costed. It does something unique. If all your plans and synergy fall through, probably due to controller, just bad opening hands, bad draws. Okay, you can still use it as a 4/7. You know, it's got layers and tiers of conditional power without being overpowered or crossing a line. Why can't every card be this that Wizards designs? It's quite simple to do unique, interesting, novel cards without printing like the Scarab God or like Ugin. Or that, here, have 7 mana on turn 4 bullshit in red. So unfortunately, this is printed in just about every damn Commander set that ever existed, so it's only 50 cents. But don't worry, we're rebounding all the way to $4 with Master Transmuter. Oh boy, so it's an artifact creature human artificer. Should look familiar. She's also in this set on like her own card. But yeah, it's a 4-drop 1/2, and if you pay 1 blue and tap her, then return an artifact you control to its owner's hand, you may put an artifact card from your hand onto the battlefield. More free casting horseshit, for one. Fantastic, thanks. I'm so sure somebody won't pay 1 mana to drop in Sundering Titan. I'm super sure nobody will ever do that. I mean, seriously, I think one's a mythic and this is a rare. I'm very certain that nobody will ever do that in a draft. Like, I'm actually not kidding. Then again, this is Wizards we're talking about. They'll probably put them both in the same pack accidentally, and then I heard that in draft, people could actually draft 2 on the first round, so that's kind of neat. Next up, we've actually got a Kamigawa reprint. Neat. This is God-Bandit Warlord. He's only about $3, so another kind of disappointing rare, but at least they're not just carpet bombing the entire set with 25-cent garbage like they usually do. So yeah, it's a legendary creature, human barbarian. It costs 6, but he's a 3/3. But when he enters the battlefield, you may search your library for an equipment card, put it onto the battlefield. If you do, shuffle your library, and then when he attacks for the first time each turn, untap it and all samurai you control. After this phase, there is an additional combat phase. Pretty beast. He's a little late traditionally for most red decks, but if you play red mid-range or some kind of ramp or something, ooh, watch out. Like this guy in a Gruul deck, holy crap. Next up we got Sword of Fire and Ice, more like Sword of Fire and Nice. And this card is pretty famous. I mean, they're already asking $130 pre-order price, potentially, for the, I guess, non-foil borderless box topper edition of this card. It was obviously also in Kaladesh as one of the inventions, aka Masterpiece cards, for $160 currently. I'm going by Card Kingdom's price, and they're completely sold out of it, which is also kind of telling. But yeah, let's just say it's valuable. I mean, the Judge promo is $150, and they're also sold out of that. The Modern Masters 1, they actually only have one available in stock at all at their entire company. Yeah, it's a bit of a popular card, and the reason behind that is because people on YouTube kept doing these 1,000-degree knife challenges, and they bought them all up. So after that big run on them, it's still $50 to pre-order this from Double Masters right now. And I mean, it's bonkers. This card's crazy. It's probably the most powerful out of the cycle, in my opinion. Depends what your deck does, though. So it's a 3-drop. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has protection from red and blue, obviously. And then whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, it deals 2 damage to any target, and you draw a card equipped to. Damn, I still like Godsend better. If you don't believe me, Godsend used to be a $2.50 card and now it's $18. You know, I thought this card was the one that was banned in something, but I guess not. It's still legal in Modern, Legacy, Vintage, everything. Commander, obviously. Well, that explains the price. So yeah, this would be a hot tamale to pull, that's for sure. One of the higher mythics. I mean, we still got like Karn and Jace. They're obviously worth more, but you know, good pull. Next up, we got a rare that was only ever printed in Commander 2014, and obviously, I believe only one of the decks, and that's it. So, was $6, now it's $4, so still not, you know, the most amazing pull ever in a $15 pack that has 2 rares in it. But, you know, as soon as you start approaching $4, $5, $6, maybe your other rare would be worth that, and then you got 2 foils too, you never know. But the whole point is not to break even, but then again, if you open a pack and break even, I mean, how bad could you really feel? Don't expect to make money from this product, obviously. Unless you're me and you're intending to try to, you know, order a pallet of it, basically, and then you're not even going to open it. That's a whole different way of handling it. But anyway, this is a 1-drop artifact equipment, and you may have it enter the battlefield as a copy of any equipment on the battlefield. And then it actually has no natural equip cost at all. So if you choose no to the May effect, well, it's just going to sit there. I always found that weird. At least make it, you know, equip for 1 and be a +1/+1 or something. I don't know why you'd ever decline this, other than, I guess, if there's no equipment on the battlefield, but you can copy your opponent's equipment, which is hilarious. Generally, something like this is kind of unreliable because it's one of those, if you pull it first, it does nothing, and if you pull it second, cool, then it's hyper powerful. But if you're going to clone something hyper powerful, you still have to pay its equip costs and all the other song and dance about it, so, I don't know, it's kind of neat, though. You also can't really clone anything legendary with it, so it's like, how good really is it? Speaking of that, Hammer of Nazan is next, legendary artifact there, so don't try to clone it. And it's 4-drop, and it's 4 equip, but when it or another equipment enters the battlefield under your control, you may attach that equipment to target creature you control. That goes on the stack, so if you were to drop in the cloner after the fact, and then clone something that isn't this, obviously, you would also get to free equip it. Oh yeah, so equipped creature gets +2/+0 and has indestructible, so, I mean, okay. Strap it on a lifelinker, can't really go wrong with that. I mean, a creature carrying this in one hand and Godsend in the other, you know, good luck, your opponent's pretty much screwed. I really hope they reprint Godsend. I really, really, really do. As far as I know, they haven't revealed that yet, but, I mean, how could they not? It's such a good card. So since this was only ever printed once in Commander 2017, this was a $28 card because, I mean, it's crazy, but it's a $20 card right now on pre-order. So, I mean, $20 for 1 rare, that's one of the for sure highest ones we've seen so far. So fantastic choice, especially with it, you know, being artifacts, it fits. We needed a reprint of it. It needs to be cheaper. Yeah, fantastic job including this one. And next up, we're back to the 79-cent rares with Thragtusk. I mean, this thing's been just printed to death, but it's a 5-drop, 5/3. When it enters the battlefield, you gain 5 life, always nice. And then when it leaves the battlefield, create a 3/3 beast. So it's interesting. I mean, it was just in Jumpstart, by the way. It was in MM3. It was in, I mean, Arch Enemy Nicol Bolas. It was in Commander 2019. It was in the 2013 core set. Like, do we really need this reprinted, especially at that price point? It does nothing with artifacts. I don't really get it. It probably works with a couple of the green cards we've seen, like maybe like Court of Calling or something, but whatever. Next up, we got Greater Good, which we did see that in Battlebound, but it's originally from Urza's Saga. There is a Judge promo of it that's only $30, so not too much. As it sits, though, it's a $7 rare. So, I mean, compared to the rest, that's a little high, I guess. You know, ain't no, pay for your pack card, but whatever. It's a 4-drop enchantment. You sack a creature at any point, so it's a free sack outlet as part of a cost. That's always nice. Hard to stop that. It's actually impossible to stop that. And you can draw cards equal to the sacrifice creature's power, then discard 3 cards. So it's basically Life's Legacy, but with power instead, and then you have to discard 3 cards. This card is crazy. And remember, if somebody tries to blow up one of your creatures, exile it, steal it, whatever, you can do this in response at instant speed. Oh, yeah. Oh, by the way, I think with Life's Legacy, you gain life equal to its toughness too. So, I mean, you can do this multiple times. I'd still say it's the better card. Next up, we got Kemba Ka Regent, which is a whopping 35 cents. I think that's the second lowest rare we've seen, if not tied for last place. Nobody really wanted this. Nobody really needed this. It was in Commander 2014, 2017, and Scars of Mirrodin. I think they just did it because cats were printed recently. They thought maybe something might happen there, but... well, that's yet to be seen. So it's a 2/4 triple drop, double white devotion, oh boy, cat cleric. And at the beginning of your upkeep, create a 2/2 white cat creature token for each equipment attached to Kemba Ka Regent. Honestly, in my opinion, more people should play this. I would honestly play this in like a white equipment deck, like a commander deck with this as my commander, because it's a recurring free creature generation ability. I mean, that's crazy. That said, it says create 1 for each equipment. If that number is 0, it does nothing. That alone, right there, the fact that it doesn't start counting at 1 somehow, brings it from a $35 card to a 35-cent card very easily. But in an equipment deck, obviously running, Godsend, best sword ever, best equipment in the history of the game, yeah, you could get something going with this. Next up, classic card we haven't seen in a while, Geist of Saint Traft, original Innistrad card. We've seen it in Blessed vs. Cursed, and I thought it was printed in something in the meantime. Thought it was in some Masters set. I guess not. Well, it is now. $3 card only, though, but it's an interesting little Azorius card here. To be perfectly honest, I remembered it being Orzhov, but okay. It's a 2/2 with hexproof. It's a Spirit Cleric, always fun. And whenever it attacks, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying that's tapped and attacking. But unfortunately, you have to exile that token at the end of combat. But remember, potentially you get a creature ETB trigger, then you get, 4 damage in the air maybe, and then you get a creature left the battlefield trigger. Unfortunately, it requires him to attack, and he's a 2/2, so good luck with that, but, I mean, I guess at least he's hexproof. It's a pretty narrow deck that runs this guy, which is why, obviously he's $3, but still an interesting card. Next up, we got a card that was only ever printed in Darksteel. It's Reshape. It was at least an $8 card before, so now it's pre-ordering at $5. Once again, a very needed reprint here. It's a double blue plus X and has an additional cost to cast a spell, sacrifice an artifact, which you'll probably just bring back from your graveyard, obviously, because it's this set. Then if you search your library for an artifact card with converted mana cost X or less and put it into the battlefield, then you shuffle your library. So it's not really free casting if you have to pay 7 mana to drop in a 5-cost artifact into play, but it's like a 2-cost tutor, so you could see why somebody would play it. The big thing is it's straight from your library to play. There's no gap. There's no, oh, maybe they'll make me discard it. I have to wait a turn. They have 1 turn warning. Maybe they'll hold a counter spell. No, it's just cast it, go get it. Ta-da, here it is. Now it's your problem. You got to deal with it. So this is really the only way to do free casting, I hate to even say, by not doing free casting is how you do free casting properly. I'm sure that makes all the sense. Next up, we've got Master of Etherium. Isn't that word for word what was on that 4-colored Commander Ladies card? Well, I guess this is the other Master of Etherium, and I'm too lazy to check because I don't remember her name. But this was in Commander 2016, and it was in Elspeth versus Tezzeret, the dual deck. That's always fun. It's actually in Play and Chase, pretty much the best product ever made. And it was also in Shards of Alara. So because it was printed so many times, even though it was a while ago, $3 rare, but, like I said, better than a 35-cent rare. So this is an artifact creature, Vidalcan Wizard, so you can get a lot done there with tribal stuff, but basically it's a 3-drop, and its power and toughness are equal to the number of artifacts you control. Never been a big fan of that, especially with the artifact tokens and stuff. Treasures, clues, all that nonsense. But other artifact creatures you control get +1/+1 because it's also a Lord's card. Wonderful. I believe the term is Lord card, not Lord's card. It's a Lord of Atlantis robot, whatever. So, I mean, compare this to Steel Overseer, could you really call it broken? No. I mean, I've seen Westvale cards that are better than this, so it's like, yeah, okay. That said, I still hate artifact decks. Next up, we've got a card design mistake almost on par with Scarab God. It's Walking Ballista, one of the most hated cards in recent memory, according to literally everyone in the community. This format ruining, set ruining, game ruining pile of trash was never banned in anything, despite many, many, many people wanting it banned from Standard at the time and from, I want to say Modern, I think it was. They accidentally printed like an infinite combo with, I don't know, some like Heliod or, yeah, I think it was literally Heliod. So that's fun. Yeah, I can't stand this damn card. The price on this thing only dropped to about $20, it's looking like, so it's definitely a money rare, but it also definitely should be banned from every single format, and they should, erase it from history because they're into that revisionist history book burning bullshit lately. I mean, let's be honest, this card was a bigger mistake than the card Cleanse. I mean, put it up to a vote in the community. See if anybody would even have the balls to disagree with that. Time to get rid of it. Pull the plug. Erase it from history. Go all Chrono Trooper from Red Alert 2 or whatever. We need to obliterate this thing from people's memories and the timeline. It's that bad of a card. I hate this card with a passion. So do you. If you don't, you clearly don't know enough about the game. Let's move on. Next up, who's a good boy? Mr. Basilisk Collar is. So, somehow after MM3, this is back up to, or at least it was back up to an $8 card, currently pre-ordering at $6. That's very optimistic after looking at what happened to the prices the last time it was printed, and also it was just in the mystery booster. I remember pulling a lot of copies of this and not getting a very good buy list price for it at the time. I was like kind of borderline and even sending it in. Looks like I probably shouldn't have. I feel like I was selling for like 25 or 50 cents and I'm just like, fine, screw it. And I sent in like 50 of them. I mean, I got my hands on a lot of MM3. A lot. So yeah, this card in general is pretty damn badass. I mean, it's a 1-drop, and equipped creature has Death Touch and Lifelink, which is a fun little combination. I mean, Death Touch and Trample is a little bit more fun, but Lifelink will keep you from losing the game. So, equip 2, very reasonable. I mean, if you haven't considered this for basically almost any commander deck that exists, you might want to reconsider. But that said, I mean, I swear this thing was like $2 in the past after it got reprinted, so you'd be out of your damn mind to pay $6 for this. Next up, we got Grand Architect. It is only a $1.50 card. It was only ever printed in, well, technically the Mystery Booster. I'm being told by this website only as a foil. Was that a thing, really? But otherwise, yes, Scar's Mirrodin, which was a while ago. But, that said, it's not that expensive. Probably because it's not that good of a card. I mean, it's a Vidalcan Artificer, it's a double blue +1, and it's a 1/3. Other blue creatures you control get +1/+1, which is weird because it's an Artificer and you put it in an artifact deck. Most artifact creatures aren't blue. I mean, some of them are, I can name one. But if you pay 1, target artifact becomes blue until end of turns. That's kind of fun. And then if you tap an untapped blue creature you control, add 2 colorless, spend this mana only to cast artifact spells or activate abilities of artifacts. So this is like 3 different cards all put together, all of which, if I recall, are Artificers. So it's like the Grand Artificer or something, even though they didn't technically name it that, pretty close. I mean, it's a pretty good card. It's just, it doesn't scream, oh my gosh, amazing, must have. Next up, oh my gosh, kick me in the nuts and steal my wallet. It's Force of Will. And guess what? This is also one of the box toppers. Oh yeah, that's pre-ordering at $200. So the original Alliances version is sitting around 130-ish. You can probably get a little cheaper on cheaper websites. This was a Masterpiece Invocation, and that one is like well over $200. The Judge foil of it is over $300. The not legal for play 1997 Seattle Tournament gold bordered version is still $38 for God only knows what reason. I mean, if you're going to buy a clearly legal card, at least buy like a proxy and write proxy on it with a Sharpie. That'll cost you a lot less than $38. Not that I want to support, Chinese ripoff artists in any way. I don't. One of them tried to actually sponsor my channel. I'm like, first of all, as if I want to piss off Wizards anymore in like legal department. But 2, I am sick to my ass of Chinese people stealing everything every other country does. So anyway, mini rant over. Apparently this is going to be about $100. So yeah, I want to pull one of these. Problem is, unlike Eternal Masters, if you pull a foil of it, and ain't that special because we also got the borderless and the borderless foil. But, my feeling is it'll be over $100 at least for the foil, but probably less than 150. I don't know, around 150 maybe. Hard to say, but yeah, this kind of did need a reprint. I mean, then again, the only people who played are Legacy and Vintage, so, they got money. Saying, oh good, it helps Legacy and Vintage become affordable, that's like saying I took a cup of water and threw it on a forest fire. So next up, we've got Well of Ideas. It's a Commander 2014 card. That's the only time it was printed, but it's only a $2 card, so, did we really need this? But it's a 5-drop enchantment, and when it enters the battlefield, draw 2 cards. At the beginning of each other player's draw step, that player draws an additional card, and at the beginning of your draw step, draw 2 additional cards. I have a sneaking suspicion that this is actually a mill-out card in disguise, with, like, Sphinx's Tutelage and Teferi's Tutelage, or whatever that card is, or Tutor's Tutelage, or the Tutu of Tutelage, or whatever the hell. Yeah, letting blue consistently draw too many cards is just generally, universally a mistake, because it's a control color, but then again, this costs 6, and also your opponent outdraws you almost. I don't know, I'd have to read it again, and I'm just not going to do that. Next up, we got Braids, except suddenly she doesn't look like some methed out psychopath serial killer, so I think the artist kind of dropped the ball on this one. This was only ever printed in Planar Chaos, but that said it's only $3 card now, so yeah, it's a 4-drop, double devotion, 2/2, legendary creature, human wizard, and at the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player may put an artifact creature or land card from their hand onto the battlefield. It's show and tell on steroids. Fantastic, the game super needed that. I am shocked that this is only $4, probably because it's going to take exactly 1 turn for this card to turn around and bite you in the ass. This card is just completely unacceptable as a card. It just takes mana cost and just says f it. It violates a basic tenet of the fabric of the game and the way the game was designed from the get-go, and it's trash. And that is the last spoiler for today, except for the couple people who just think it's hilarious to release their spoiler at like 11:50 Hawaii time. So anyway, a lot of big money cards, a lot of controversial draft rooting garbage, but I didn't intend to draft this, so I could care less. At this point, I only care about the value, and honestly, you probably should too. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit subscribe once again for, obviously, the EV video as quickly as I can possibly get it out when all the information is available. And more spoilers starting tomorrow, of course. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next video.